don't even know me. You don't even know my name. You don't even know me. Why you saying shit? You don't even know me. Why you playing games? Galaxies, the universe, tried everything to make it work. We can't stop. No, we can't stop the sky from falling. Lights go down. Do you even know if I'm even around? And I have found lights that make me blind, and I'm losing my mind. And
Greetings, I am Rising Phoenix AuroRa. If you found yourself, your heart, your way to here, you're meant to be here. Thank you for following your heart to mine and follow through to the end of this beautiful episode. And it's immense, the knowledge that's being shared through our channel, and really from the beginning of our 8 years ago we started communicating and bringing this information from the divine. And I am excited to be here with you for this next episode to Queen Calafia. In case you don't know who she is, she was a goddess from California, back then when they called it the island of the California. And I have spirituality, I'm going to be channeling her, but also I also have facts. So that's why what I love and you all love is that I put the facts together, the data with the spirituality and the energetics of how important. So you wonder why California in so many ways is being targeted and has been targeted, especially in this kind of last 50-60 years. It's because of part one. So you want to watch part one to this, which was the Magic Island, Queen Calafia, Galactic history. Now, this one's called the Uproar because the uproar is here. The rising is here. It's all over the earth, and people are roaring with their lioness and their tigress, leopard roars. And it's time, you all. And we don't realize how, because time is the wave and the spiral, how their time space, when she's communicating from California in that time space, how it's mirroring to our time space, and then even how she explained in part one. So again, if you didn't watch it, go back and watch it so you could understand, because this is a continuance. This is part two. And we aired that about a month ago, a little over a month ago. Veluvia, everyone, what an honor. So she left us on a cliffhanger, a really big cliffhanger, where she said that Yeshua was coming and how beautiful it was to have been there to hold a space for his birthing, and what an honor it was. It was emotional, it was profound. I had a reading this week, and she said, I ran into your content. She said, I've been watching you for years off and on. And she says, I watched one of your recent videos, and just randomly at the end, it just she says, I need to go back and watch the whole thing, but you were in tears and you were talking about two dragons. And she said, I don't know what you were talking about, but she says, I'm a healer. I've been a hypnosis. In the past, I've been a hypnosis, practitioner. And she says, when you are a hypnosis practitioner, you learn what is true emotion and what is not emotion. And she said, what you were feeling was so raw and beautiful and true, right? And you know when people are faking it. And she said it was so much love. And yeah, so this is what we do. Only source of light is allowed within this space, and only love. So in case you are new to us, I have over 900 videos. I am known as a spiritual revolutionist. I am an oracle. I channel so much beauty and different benevolent beings from creation. I bring their voice here when perhaps you have been indoctrinated and programmed that these benevolent beings are godly and you have to worship them, or that they're, don't bother them, don't be a nuisance to them, when actually they're your brethren. I mean, and many people carry these gods and goddesses within them. You carry all these different fractals that are within you to help you on your journey, on your earthly incarnation. So that's what I've done for that many years, 8 years, bringing back the memory of these beautiful beings and who they really were. So what a joy it's been to do that, because from before we did this, many people would say like, okay, it seems like they were so far away from us, or you couldn't really reach them, or it felt like, like you're godly, how could I even talk to you, right? And what we've done is we've brought in a personal relation to these different beings, ascended masters, gods and goddesses, who are our brethren again. So as we have brought them back, hold on, I got a lot of fire going here. There, let me try to let that cool off for a minute. Okay. Ooh, the fire was going crazy. We're good. We're good. So
Roar, with that, I think you could hear the fire,
yeah,
and then when you blew it out, it stopped. So yeah, you could hear it a little bit.
yes. Yeah, she was going like this. It was really strong, which we love. But I mean, I can't really focus watching the fire. I mean, I could. It's helping me, but I'm like making sure it doesn't spread. So yes. So that's what we've been known for, and there's so much distortion, so much falseness, and so much programming to make you believe that these beautiful beings were fallen angels, nephilims, dark beings, controlled you, ate you, all this like, false information. And it's actually powering up the AI matrix. Is also powering up the fact that the AI matrix that we talk about, which I remote viewed the AI matrix. By the way, we have Gina here, and we also have Claire, Circle of Light Healer, in chat, and they're watching out for us. So thank you to both of them. So write your questions, and but yes, when they basically make you believe that these benevolent beings that might have been taller than you or stronger than you, or just beautiful as humanly as you were, just very loving, that you're to worship them, and all this falseness, it basically powers up the AI matrix. And then I have books, which I'll show you in a minute, and where you could go and find out more about this matrix that we talk about. And so our goal is to help you release yourself from the dark curses and really the black magic, up until you realize that they're your brethren, and that you've been taught and programmed to hate on them. So you realize that when you realize that, you actually free yourself. You free yourself from having to be the battery to the inverted matrix. And then you start walking more organic timelines, more organic beingness of you, and you start just lifting in vibration. It's really beautiful. So basically, the way that they've taught you is to tell you things and to make yourself enslave yourself consciously. So the way to do that is to realize, hold on, what is programmed within my mind and consciousness, whether I'm awake, whether I'm waking up, or whether I've been awake for a long time, or whether I just woke up, right? So what in this is programming and what is correct? And it's so important for you to go through your consciousness and kind of like trash it, if you have to kind of see it like a computer, you just find all the trash. When you go through your phone, your laptop, you get rid of the trash, you trash it. And more than ever, you want to do that because you're raising your vibration every day, and Mother Earth is. So you got to keep up with her, and all this kind of false programming keeps you there. Like I was talking to a A.U.R.A practitioner, which is what I'm the founder of A.U.R.A Hypnosis, Entity Removal, Past Life Regression, Raw Reiki. We also have a new course coming up, Sophia's Quantum Touch Healing is going to be incredible. And then Quantum Galactic Akashic Reading, which I offer all of these sessions. You also come book a session with me. I'd love to meet you. But we also have practitioners all over the world, which you can find under our Rising Phoenix Mystery School, which is both on Patreon and under my official Rising Phoenix Mystery School website, which is aurapractitioners.com. So we're adding all the links there for you. And it is, this journey is a hard one. It's a hard one because it's a constantly throwing all these kind of like jabs at you and ball, like, you know, like a pitcher throwing balls at you, can you catch the ball with your mitten, or will it hit you in the face? Or will it go past you and then you have to take, you know, a year to go find it because it went woo? You were like, what is that? I don't even understand that, you know? So yeah, and it all starts with purging out what it has is false within you. And then taking your power back and be like, hey, if I am part of in any way been tricked and part of powering up inverted matrices like the movie The Matrix, I completely do not consent to that. Higher self, you help me release myself from that and send the masters, angels, your angels, call on them, and they'll help you start releasing from that. All right, so that's just a little intro. You definitely want to keep watching because we are at the part where Queen Calafia says that Yeshua is coming. And I went back and reviewed the map. So we'll start off with some facts, the maps that I archived at the Library of Congress. And I'm quite surprised when I went back. Some of these maps that we're looking at is we're literally looking at when Yeshua just walked the earth, which is another video that you want to be watching. As well, to understand what we're going to talk about. Yeshua just walked the earth, and then this is part of our Antarctica Tartaria series, as well as the Mayan Atlantean series. So we got a lot going on here. So it's just all coming together now. Okay, and yeah, beautiful. And then I am the author to Galactic Soul History of the Universe, which are these two books here, back here. And then this is my new one that just came out, The Lost Cities of Tartaria. Beyond the ice walls of Antarctica, figuring out that there's actually more lands beyond that. How do you know that? Look at the moon tonight. Look at the moon. You can see it as clear as day now. You can see our lands reflected on the moon. And then there's a whole nother side to the moon that, who are those people? And what's going on with those lands? Yeah, you can see it. It's pretty amazing. Not craters, it's a reflection of the lands. She's a crystalline mirror, plasmic mirror that's showing us the reflection of who we are to wake up. So you could go to my website, risingphoenixaurora.com, and to support this video and everything I do, go to Patreon or AuroRaPractitioners.com. Let's get started. A couple announcements. We have the 10-25-25. I am teaching raw Reiki certification, entity removal, so you can start learning how to quantumly, through quantum physics, energetically, spiritually, remove anything parasitic, anything negative, and then you start basically again walking your most organic timelines. And then we have November 10th, we have the full glorious certification of A.U.R.A hypnosis, past life regression, and then raw Reiki, which are both entity removal, and that's what most of the books are about. And then the last book is, we got a couple A.U.R.A sessions in there, past life regressions, but we have a lot of my channel content, beautiful illustrated color pictures. I had a choice on Amazon. They said do it in color, in high quality color, and I said high quality color. It was a little more expensive, but so worth it because the pictures look so beautiful and pretty. People say so worth it. All right, so let's get started. We good? Gina, you want to say hi?
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Gina. I'm so excited for part 2 today of Queen Calafia. She talked so much last time about all the lands deveiling and kind of what it was like there for her, and talked a lot about Yeshua, so I'm excited to hear more about Yeshua. You can find myself, A.U.R.A, and everybody else who's on the A.U.R.A practitioners that are certified on AuroRaPractitioners.com, and then you can just find somebody that you resonate with and, you know, book sessions if you want, get some readings done, or as A.U.R.A just said, go ahead and get certified yourself. It's so exciting, and there's a beautiful community of everybody there. You get to be in different groups, you get to ask questions and learn from each other. So yeah, join us there and continue to join us as A.U.R.A keeps going through her live on Fridays. And there's so many series going on right now. Egypt is incredible, so you guys, if you get a chance, join that.
Thank you, Gina. And we want to say we don't consent to you haters and trolls. Don't even bother. I'm too sovereign. It'll be yours to transmute. All right, let's move on. So, let's play a little song. Let's go. Ready? I thought this was so her.
You don't even know me. You don't even know my name. You don't even know me. Why you saying shit? you to even know me. Why you playing games? Galaxy, the universe, tried everything to make it work. We can't stop. No, we can't stop the sky from falling. Lights go down. Do you even know if I'm even around? And I have found lights that make me blind, and I'm losing my mind. And
All right, beautiful. Let's go, you all. Okay. So, oh, one more announcement. You all, I have a new show. I have a new show. So excited. You might have guessed it. It is with A.U.R.A Sakara. Beautiful goddess from the UK, Scotland area. We'll be doing one show a month. It's going to be every first Monday of the month. Check her out. Her videos have gone pretty viral, amazing. The one video where she made two shorts only, and then one of them is like on Facebook, which is unheard of. I think, well, at least for there's a way they shadow ban me. But for her, there's 87,000 views last I checked on the one. Big, so many comments, I mean, people really feeling it. And then there's also the really programmed people who still are under the dark curse of the false religion, man-made religion. All right, so check that out. And we are calling it receding, what are we calling it? Receding Eden, the show, the receding Eden show, because that's what we're doing. But I over here in this world, and she's working it out over there in that world. So what an honor. Okay, so join us live. Actually, we're going to be live on Monday. We're going to be live. I'm going to be live here on Rumble, and she will be live on TikTok. So we'll be both live at the same time in both of those platforms. So you could join us either way. As always, sign up to my newsletter so you could get all the information on that. Okay. All right. Are we good, Gina? Can we get started?
Yes, everything is good. We can hear you, see you. Everything's good. And guys, make sure you add all your questions, and we're ready when you are.
All right, beautiful. Okay, so all right, going back to some of the maps. Yeah. Okay, how did we know? Did no one figure this out last time? Because I don't remember mentioning it. And I had to rewatch part 1 because it seems like it was such a long time ago. I don't know about you guys. So as I was rewatching it, I remember showing you guys this map. Okay, so this is a archive map, a Library of Congress. Okay, and it is 1646 to 1720. Okay, now we don't know the exact dates. Could this be 1646? I like the number, no? 1646. Could have been earlier. It could have been. I mean, do they actually know the dates? Unless you find it somewhere typed up and notarized, it's not going to be, it's not going to be exact. But what we do know, maybe here somewhere. Haha. Liars. 533. Figured you guys out. Okay, so in the Library of Congress, they claim that it's 1646 to 1720, you all, but they didn't realize that we know how to read, and that La California, and this is not a number, this is like an I, so it's not a number, so it's 533, you all. Wait a minute. This is a map from 100 years, and look at what they called it. Did we not see this, Gina? I'm so confused. Last time, the map is called Jesus en la América.
No, I don't remember seeing that last time.
September is his birthday, 9/11. Jesus en la América, that means Jesus in the America. Ha! We proved it. Boom, drop the mic, you all. What did I say? Over a year ago, that Yeshua was the one who unveiled America, and that's why he came over here, and Yeshua just walked the earth, you all, and here's the proof. I tell you, I tell you, you can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. All right, let's read it. So let's see if I could read it. Okay, so it says La California or Novel Caroline. So it's good. They're calling it you know, California and then Caroline as well. So it's on Novella Caroline. So it seems like these some of the parts of the lands and also back to the reset of the last reset video that we made. What was it called? The last reset series. That one. We'll add the link. Remember how we came over and we found the books and we found Napoleon books and the history books that were, you know, tossed out of the schools that they used to teach at the schools. Okay, so we found those books and then they told us how they basically the books told us how they literally step by step invaded the Carolines, South Carolina, North Carolina area where there was giants. You guys remember that? Okay, that was big. We also have World Erase, which actually is good amount of views, guys, for Rumbles. I mean, that we're looking, I think like 6,000 views or 7,000 views for that video. Big one to go watch as well. Okay, so let's see what we can read. Teatro de los Trabajos Apostólicos de la Compa y Jesús en la América. Okay, Teatro de los Trabajos. So it's now I don't know if this is Spanish, but it might be Italian, so I could translate it as best as possible because it's pretty close. Teatro. I don't know what teatro is. Maybe you could look it up, Gina, and let us know. De los trabajos. So that's working. Trabajos apostólicos. So basically what he was, they're calling him apostles, like his 12 disciples, like that. De la compa. Y Jesús, I don't know. I think that's what they called themselves. So let me talk to Yeshua. He's saying, yeah, that's what they called themselves. Apostólicos de la compa.
The teatro means theater?
Okay, yeah. Okay, so, all right. Theater. Okay, so, y Jesús en la América, septiembre. Okay, so let's see. Drese sur sella que la viserioi de la novela de España en el envoya y so it seems like he was traveling with the Spaniards more. And some different names in ciencia, science, and then par fer geografe de las majeste catholique. Okay, so he's talking about, they're talking about basically, I think it seems like Catholic church of some kind, so we'll figure it out though. So Don Fernán Cortés, right, le premier la California en 533, el desciende en el Endroic. Also the language is old, guys, so it's different, so I'm trying not to translate it. Endorique Noma, so also the Spanish that we speak is different than the Spanish now. Le Port Dame. Okay, they're talking about General Francis de Alcón Pasanos la California, a ver que, so he was there in California, a ver cualques grandes vieneses, so they're saying names, which I don't know the names. Depends, so it says 586, eti pasa a cinc religión de San Francis. So it's talking about some of the religion basically that they were bringing in. Le meme y retorna el 1602. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to translate this. I don't know. We're gonna work on this. Okay. All right. So we're gonna work on translating this, and we'll get this because I just figured this out like minutes before I came on here. I was like, what? So it's basically going through a timeline because I mean you even seeing like years of 1694, which is 694. And we know that he was here during these times, So it's almost, it feels like it's telling the story of him, the story of the way he came in, and then also goes into some of the story of like what happened after. Okay. So it'll be interesting to find out me and my channeled information of what Yeshua will be starting to share. And when we start, basically, this map is going to be key when we start channeling Yeshua and what was he up to for 133 years. And this is part of what he was up to, you all. Okay, so we'll work on that. We'll get one of the practitioners who translates maps on it if she wants to. But we'll figure it out. And then, yeah. Wonder what these numbers mean here. 234. Is it like latitude? 272. Yeah, it has to do with latitude. But this is a really interesting map to look at. I mean, just looking at them, it feels like they're giant. Because look at this. Is this like an obelisk? This looks like an obelisk. And those are the giants. Yep. So there's the proof that there were giants here. And then, let's see, Rio del Norte de la Nueva Mexico. Also, the river of the north of New Mexico. All right, so I just wanted to show you guys that so we could like kind of freak out together. At least I hope you're freaking out so divinely with that. It's so awesome. Okay, so then we've been talking to, right, Queen Calafia, who was the queen in part 1 of these lands, but I mean she was one with everyone. She just kind of was the leader as an oracle and warrior she was. And then we've also found out that there was many races. It wasn't just the Nubians, the blacks, the darker skin. It was many. It was also, you know, the more lighter brown, like my skin tone. And yeah, I don't know about lighter ones like Caucasian, because they were in The Last American. You'll also want to watch The Last American, another series that is incredible, because it seems like the more the Caucasians with the blonde hair and blue eyes, according to The Last American, the little book that I found from published in the 1800s, factually, but written 1,000 years before, probably, because it was a journal of a Persian prince. And so according to The Last American, right, the Caucasians, and that's what we finished it up in the last video, didn't we? What was the last video we just did that we were like, wait a minute, goodness, what video was that? What was Gina, what was our last video?
I think the one that you were talking about was in Egypt. You talked about that one in that class recently.
No, it was another one. What was the last, what's the Friday video we did before this one? Yeah, so we talked about how in that, while she gets us the video,
You had the World's Fair.
that's right, the World's Fair, and we talked about what is going on, because in The Last American, according to the book, there was Caucasian people and they were dead in their beds when they came. They were gone, and it was trippy because they also didn't look too like too you know, too what is the word, rotted. They looked petrified of some kind, like almost like, say, dried out, dehydrated. So something happened there, and then you're gonna want to watch A Last American, because, and then according to them, there was the last couple of Americans left, and they were blonde hair with blue eyes, which has us questioning we know that, like, for example, in the indigenous culture, for sure, in the Americas, different nations, different tribes, some of them say that they weren't from even here. They weren't from Earth. They say that they came from other worlds, or even aliens. They said they came from other planets, and they came to seed and to be here, but they weren't originally from here. Which brings us to, we're gonna channel Goddess Bridget, the real the nuns in the future, and figuring out where they came from, and she's gonna share with you that they weren't from here as well. So they were, the red hair, green eyes from Ireland are from a whole nother planet, basically, a planet that came here to do the job, to assist and make sure that the world didn't completely destroy itself when the fall of the Atlantis, the AI. So you'll hear that story later, but we also know that some of these indigenous are portaling in. So then, yeah, it's beautiful. But even just thinking about like the multiverse and understanding that we're in the multiverse, really here, seated through all the crystals, everything that makes up our Earth. And so then when you think of that, then of course we were all seated and we came from somewhere else. But there's also some indigenous people who were also just kind of new souls here as caretakers and connected to the earth. Okay, but I had to show you guys how incredible is that. So we are in that monumental time, so we will get back with you on this. So stay tuned for that series to start the 133 years of Yeshua's life and what was he up to. All right, that's gonna be epic, you all. I mean, a couple other maps that we didn't get a chance to look at that I have archived that are I don't have archived, but they have them archived there. I mean, these are pretty cool. Part of Chile, South, the discovery. While I show you these maps again, remember Yeshua's birthing unveiled, remove the fog and the mist that we left off on last video. And we are about to start channeling among the mist. And what's happening as it starts unveiling is going to be epic, you all. Stay tuned with us. So yeah, the Bay of Guayaquil. Where's that? Okay, that's Peru. Okay. Valdivia, a map of the Valdivia. So we got some, look at that, they got some star forts there. And then we have here. So it's right here below, going into South America, North America to South America. A chart from the England to the river area. Atlantic Ocean. This looks a lot closer, huh? A lot closer than they claim. It's pretty closer. Calms and tornadoes. Pepys and Pepius. Mount Charles. Where's that? Mount James. What's Pepius? Isn't that the... Is that the one that supposedly got volcanoed out? Sounds familiar. Similar. Let me know, Gina. A map of Straits of Magellan. Tierra del Fuego. Down here. So Tierra del Fuego, which is basically a land of fire. And then we see that basically here's parts of Antarctica. Here. So it seems like even back here in the 1500s, when this map was really published, that even Antarctica had to get deveiled, huh, you all? So lands deveiled. But what happened is that all the lands were connected and you could transport back and forth between them before the AI, the Archon virus, which is in book 2. And then what happened is that then it closed off because of the AI virus spreading, and then the lands needed to be veiled and shielded from one another. The Great South Sea. Panama, there's the Panama, right? That China is has over, and they shouldn't have it because what are they doing here? Panama Canal. And we know that when looking at these maps, the Panama Canal, which is basically the kind of like the tipping, is what connects, right? South America and North America, or Mexico, is what connects it. So what we've learned through the dragons, that we are in 2 dragons, right? You watched part 1, so you know what I'm talking about. Not repeating stuff that we already talked about. So it's the literal kind of placenta, the cord, the umbilical cord at the end that's connecting to the placenta, which could be seen as South America that's going to birth out into we're all going to birth out into to the new Earth. Let me know if you have anything for me, Gina. I'm good.
Yeah, good. I was just looking for that island with Mount Charles on it. I'm not really finding anything right now, but they were talking about Magellan's Strait, Magellan's Island that you were just talking about. And there's another island there called Magdalena Island, which would be
Yeah.
Magdalene's Island.
Yeah, interesting, huh? So here we're gonna already see their names there. I mean, they're at that time they're already dedicating it here, and going back to okay, why would they name this part Magdalene Island right here? This part, right? This part, because it's going into the birthing, isn't it? So after the pregnant dragon up here, which is America's, the umbilical cord, then the placenta, and then what births out from the placenta is a baby. So this bridge here, this connection here, is the bridging of the baby. And it was so emotional in part one where we realized that this whole time Divine Mother was holding on to Divine Father, the other dragon, because I mean, yeah, can't let go of Divine Father. Yeah, wow. Okay, we're good there? Questions, comments, let me know. Otherwise, we're gonna move faster so we can start channeling here.
Somebody's mentioning on some of the maps, it's like a mixture of Spanish and French on the first one and some of
Yeah.
these. So there's like a mixture.
Yeah. And what is this September? Like sept? What is that? Ocean sept. Oh, okay, so that's what it's called? Ocean sept. Short for September, I would say. Mer de Norte. So Mar de Norte, so the North Sea. Mar de Sur, South Sea. Huh. Interesting. Okay. And then here again, they're calling it, this is an isle. They say California was an isle. Which brings us to like, what happened? There's some kind of reset that happened where the waters flooded and then they dried up again. It wasn't just California. I'll show you that in a minute. And this is supposedly a 1695 map. I mean, but like, wow, what a find you all right here. Jesus, Jesus, in La America. In America. There we go, you all. Okay, you won't find that anywhere. Let me see. Anything else here? Looks good. Yes, it's interesting to see all these maps and the way they change every year, every decade. And then, the different conquistadores, conquistadors that are going in and taking different lands and changing things. Okay, we're good there? Okay, next one. I thought this was pretty cool. The most recent, most accurate description of all America. That's what it's called. And that's 1690, well, 1619 born, but it doesn't say quite when it was made. 1650 maybe. So let's look at that. Okay. Voyagers, as always, voyaging. There's the Magdalene again there. The different races. And America Meridional. It's just the South America, and then so it's interesting. Remember we talked about in the past how We are the humans of the land, and there used to be humans of the water. The mer people. That the water was just as populated with mer people and humans, mer humans, in the water, of course. Okay, so that's why you see all those. I mean, they're real existing, and even now, sometimes people see mermaids in the water, and they're depicted just about in every map that we come across. How beautiful is that?
Aurora, it looks, you asked a while ago about the sept while it's on there, and it looks like sept is short for septentrionalius, meaning of the north. It's Latin.
Of the north. Okay. So in their perspective, they must have seen America as a north. Kind of like how we're trying to figure out what's going on over there beyond the Pacific Ocean, beyond Hawaii, or beyond Japan, that whole area where it's just all water, supposedly. And yeah, we have a big information on that coming up on what's over there, and we're gonna remote view that, coming up with channeling Hitler, figuring out, was he a bad guy or was he not, and if he wasn't the bad guy, who was the bad guy. We're gonna figure it out. We'll piece by piece putting all the information together. Okay. There's so much unraveling right now that is mirroring the uproar of World War II and even World War I. And then there's more maps here, but we'll skip those. It's just different. Again, California and the island, California and the island, and different graphs of it. So interesting, huh? Yeah. Okay. Questions, comments before we get started?
Someone else mentioned that the Obrano Monte map also describes the Strait of Magellan. We were talking about that earlier. And then Mount Charles, they're thinking that it could also be referencing an area near Jamaica.
Okay. Thank you. There's California here, and then the sea in between it is what they call it, the sea, because technically it was an island, right? Okay. All right, excited about that. Questions, comments, are we good?
There's still some comments from last video for
let's share those.
But Queen Khalifa, they had some for her, some questions for her, but we can share some of the other comments. I think you went over most of them last time, though.
Okay, go for it.
Do you want to go for the questions that they had for her, or?
Well, let's go over the comments we missed last time, and then we'll get started with the channeling.
Okay. So you went over a good bit of them, and somebody said, wow, it's so interesting how on one of those maps, California was shaped like an angel wing.
Yeah. That is very interesting with what we've shared in both the last video and also the giant lands of Lumeria, that there used to be angel trees there, and angelic energy has come and birthed through that energy there of the land and the trees and Los Angeles. So yeah. So of course it'd be in the shape of a wing. So true. Continue.
And then it was so emotional how they were talking about Divine Father, and Divine Father's wings is the dragon. And somebody said, we won't ever give up on you, Divine Father.
No, we won't. Never.
And that's why we're here, Divine Father and the children of Earth. That person said their heart is so happy that you shared all of that with everybody.
I know it brought such happiness to me as well, and then it's just beautiful, these series, the way that they continue to flow and put more and more puzzle pieces together, and how our ancestors leave the trails behind of the light, and then we walk those same lands that they walk. So of course we pick up on those light signatures that they left in the crystals, in the air, under us, and within us. It's beautiful, beautiful journey. All right, what else? Anything else?
And then one of the comments last time you were talking about, or they asked about Cibola, and Cibola being the city of gold. And then you mentioned how the land was actually gold. Is there any more you can share on that?
Mm-hmm. So we find a lot of gold here, don't we? In America, this side of the world. But in that side of the world, they also have something in Africa, right? Do they have gold in Africa? Yeah, they do. So turns out that gold is everywhere, of course. We know this. It's inside the minerals. But it also, when we're looking at the asteroids, someone sent me an email and they were pointing out the gold, right? The gold tone in it. The gold is also in the crystalline firmament, the crystalline dome above us that Yeshua was talking about. So in the past, we've talked about how important gold is and how it is the liquid metal, liquid crystal, really, that flows and brings in celestial energy to Earth. And it is basically the highest vibrational metal on the whole Earth. So this metal is an amplifier, and it scientifically, basically, energetically, quantum communicates. You have to have gold in your phone, even your devices, there's gold everywhere. Even in you have particles of gold. I mean, I know when I look in the sun on my skin, I have gold coming out, like little pieces of gold glitter coming out, and I'm not wearing any gold, glitter. You could see it when the sun hits the skin. So what's happening is Divine Mother saying is that everything that is organic has to have gold in it, because that's the way that you communicate, she says. Telecommunication cannot happen unless you have gold within you as a human, as an animal, telepathic. So you have also, she says, a lot of gold in your brain and your neurals. And she says that, we teach about these courses in the Buddha course. Buddha course is one of them that we really talked about. Also, the Orca Delphi really talked to us about how we're a crystal really deeply. And she explained to us how we have Herkimer diamonds and diamonds really that power up the neurons. And then I also am seeing, with your question, the gold inside of us and also the brain. And it seems like the receptors that they talk about, the receptors that communicate to one another in the neurons, these receptors are actually powered up by gold. She's showing me now. So otherwise the translation of the communication would happen. And she says that gold is very fast to communicate. It is instantaneous, like the speed of light. How you get a phone call, you are instantly talking to them, right? There's no delay. They call you, boom, you get it wherever you are on that side of the world, in their time zone. So gold is a component to the unifier to quantum light and quantum communications. Does that make sense? Questions, comments?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Okay.
And then the rest of them are specifically for Queen Khalifa. So whenever you're ready for those.
Awesome. Let's get going. So let's see. What she's told me is, okay, so recap, remember, we left off the dragons, Divine Mother and Father. They're unified now, but they were separated, and Yeshua unveiled America, right? His birthing unveiled it, and that's why they discovered America. When those maps we found under Yeshua Just Walked the Earth, that he actually was during that time of the 1500s when they discovered America, Yeshua was born. We also found the map when he passed away, 1633. Now we have this map that is telling us the journey of what he was up to here with his apostles. And it's interesting, they call it Catholic Church. We'll have to figure that out. What did they call themselves? We know that they were called the Essenes, but was there another name that they used? So we'll see it once we translate it for you all, and then when we channel him. So this is going to be the perspective of from the Queen Khalifa and all the benevolent beings that live through holding the space for his birthing. And when the beginning of what it took to hold that space for him to come. And then it's going to basically, we're going to drop off, leave it off where he's landed. And then he tells his point of view. But she's going to tell you the point of view of her eyes. Next, when we start his series, he's going to tell you his point of view. And we'll see what order he goes in. We don't know if he's going to go straight to when he lands in the Mrs. DeVale, and he lands in America, or if he's going to start from the beginning and tell you, as a child, what it was like growing up, the sacred alchemy. He's going to be sharing so much, you all, of his beauty and everything. Of course, his mother and his grandmother taught him, Mother Mary and Grandmother Anna. And, of course, he'll share his beloved Mary Magdalene. So it is time. We're here. We have Generation Z, is it? Z? Yeah. Kicked out the bad. Whew, my goodness. They kicked out the bad government and literally ran them into the waters and wow. And then they put in an elder lady, you all. It's happening. The uproar is here. So many people, even in these different lands like the Middle East, how there's a lot of war imposed by the entities in the dark aliens, and who are the Israelis, and the Israelis are the fake Jews. The fake Jews is what we'll call them. And then, but who are these fake Jews? Are they clones? Sure seems like it. Going back to the AI alien invasion. And but they're on these lands that they've parasitically hooked into. So we have to protect the lands. We have to protect the Israeli lands, the Palestinian lands, the Jerusalem lands, because they're so sacred. It's Yeshua's lands where he was born. But those parasites are there. So we'll continue to work on that collectively, right? It's happening. The government's happening. We got Donald J. Trump, who's doing an incredible job. Oh, what a hard job he has to try to create world peace. I mean, I could be here and showing you guys videos, but you guys look it up. There was a man talking, and he was saying that from, I forgot where he was from, but he was, I think I have it here actually. He was talking about how he wanted to appoint Trump the Nobel Prize. It's like unheard of stuff. Like, it's quite incredible. And he says because he's evaded several wars already. Here, actually, let's talk about it. Look at how much love. Okay, so this is, so who's this man? Look into it, Gina. I don't know. I don't see it there. It doesn't say in the captions. But okay, let's see what he says. Okay, and then he stopped 7 wars and counting.
Yes. So maybe we agree with Prime Minister Pashinyan to send a joint appeal to Nobel Committee to award President Trump with the Nobel Peace Prize, because from the leaders of the countries which were at war for more than 3 decades, having this historic signature here, it really means a lot. This is tangible result of President Trump's leadership, and no one could have achieved that. There have been many presidents here since beginning of 90s, and the so-called Minsk process, which, by the way, today we put an end to with my Armenian colleague, started in 1992. So negotiation under the auspices of OSCE continued for more than 3 decades without any result. So who, if not President Trump, deserves the Nobel Peace Prize? I don't want to go into the history of some very strange decisions of the Nobel Peace Committee to award the prize for someone who didn't do anything at all. But President Trump in 6 months did miracle. So I think that my Armenian colleague will support it.
Armenian.
And judging by the reaction of the audience, I think as soon as we come back, we will agree to issue a joint letter. And hopefully, and I also join when President is awarded, we hope that he will invite us to the ceremony. Can I have a suggestion?
Yes.
How sweet and beautiful is that, you all? So
I looked it up.
Yeah, go ahead.
I looked it up. Not the particular man, but it looks like Trump has already been nominated several times for the Nobel Peace Prize before, and they're hoping to actually make it happen this time.
Oh my God, angel bumps. So he said that they were from the Armenian government, and it's so beautiful. I mean, these men are tired too, you all. We're all tired of this. Like he said, decades of war that has no explanation, and he's done it in miracles in 6 months. So I don't know what more to prove to people, but I like the person's caption. They said, say this, he stopped this war, you know, when someone tries to call, you know, Trump Hitler, you know, show him this. Okay, but again, we don't know if Hitler was a bad guy or not. We know that somebody killed a bunch of Jewish innocents. That did happen, but who was it? And we'll see it through our Rising Phoenix Mystery School Extra Sensitive series, where we will discover it, because we found Adolf Hitler's maps and we've translated them. We have. I shared that in the last video, right? I think I did. Can't remember.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
So I found it, and the Armenian Prime Minister Nikola Pashinyan. That's the other colleague he was talking about, and then Azerbaijan's president, the one who was speaking, Ilham Aliyev, I believe that's his name. So that was the man who was speaking in the video
So it's the president
of Azerbaijan,
wow, and then also the prime minister
of Armenia. Yes.
Armenia. Wow. Okay, Yoha. I mean, it's beautiful. Yeah, let's go. So what we don't realize is that this exact moment in time and space is also connected to the moment that I'm going to start talking about, Queen Khalifa and him landing, has something to do with Yeshua and what he was doing in his time space. Okay, so if we're looking at where are we in 2024, if we took out 1,000 years, technically, because they added 1,000 years, technically we're at 1,000, I mean, we're in 25, sorry, 1,025, well, 2,025, if we take out the extra 1,000 that they added, or that something happened, we don't understand, well, we do understand in the last American, but, okay, so say we're on 2025, and then the 1,000 years missing. Could it be technically 1,025? Probably more accurate. And 1,025, which puts us at, he was here at 1,500, which would be 500, which puts us at about 500 of his time frame. But the way time works is, you want to watch Orbiting into Higher Timelines video where I talk about how time works as a spiral and a wave in quantum physics. Okay, is that 25 is connecting to that year. It must have been a big year. So the waves are connecting. So if we were connecting 25, that would have been, say, let's just say he passes away in 1633, right, Yeshua? So, or 633, according to the map. So that means that we're looking at our time space is in direct alignment with the year 25 of their time space, which would have been, say, 1625. So it's about 8 years before he passes away. 8 years before he passes away, there must have been some kind of craziness happening, don't you think? something already unraveling because he's done so much, and we're looking at almost towards the end of his life. What is he up to? Well, really, what are the entities that are going after him up to that? How are they targeting him? And then there's an uproar. There's definitely an uproar. And that's what we're talking about with Queen Khalifa as well. So let's look at a couple videos actually that I wanted to show you. So let me see how this matches with here. Okay, and then we're going to start the channeling after that. So you guys remember this is part of the images of the Tartarian Reset series, right? You guys remember that one? That's the one, South Carolina one, the Napoleon one that we're talking about, North America. Okay. So here though, we have a video one of the practitioners shares on Telegram. Okay, this is pretty cool. I like this.
And you can do it in style without being crammed in a little tin can.
So he's talking about the blimps, and it's proof. All the videos and pictures and everything. It's pretty obvious. But here he talks about, in these blimps, in case you don't know, they used to be able to travel.
To show off this awesome map of the Hindenburg spot.
What is the Hindenburg? Look into that, okay? So this map is inside the blimp, okay? What's interesting though, it looks like that they are in a time where there must have been a reset because parts are gone. You see that here? It's underwater. Water. So there had to have been some kind of water reset, and this goes deeper, and we'll go into that another time, okay? Because there's even Tartarian pictures where it looks like people are in bathing suits and they look like everything's flooded. Why are they standing on lands that are flooded? So they look like they're the survivors of the flood. But when you look here, look at this. These are some of the maps of that as well. Of the past. And this map from then, from the blimp in Tartaria.
So Aurora, with that, the Hindenburg was basically a German passenger airship blimp, and May 6, 1937, it burst into flames. They call it the Hindenburg disaster. And then 35 of the 97 passengers and crew and one on the ground passed from it.
Yeah, which we've talked about this in the past in the Antarctica Tartaria series. Somebody targeted the blimp and made it blow up on purpose from the inside because they didn't want us, the people, to keep exploring because they were exploring into Antarctica. And I mean, how easy is that, you all? You don't have to go, you don't have to go through like the, say, dangerous seas of South America to go into, say, that Ring of Fire or past the Magdalene Island that we showed you. Through that passageway into Antarctica, you can just fly over like, ooh, like you're just floating everywhere. So of course, whatever these dark aliens that caused the previous resets also, which are really the Romans in hiding, the Illuminati, the Israelis hiding, pretending. The real Nazis, that's who they are. The Israeli people are the real Nazis, you know. Okay, all right, so let's hear this. It's 4 minutes long, so I'll skip through it. And he did a pretty good job here. He's talking about Queen Khalifa and Black woman Lumerian. So let's hear what he says.
I'm going to prove to you very quickly and very easily that Black people were not only indigenous to the Americas, but especially the West Coast and California. May 14th, 1864. The Queen of California. Let's jump down here to the second part of this article. We are going to touch on Khalifa. We are going to touch on the indigenous petite, no, not petite. Let's jump to this article. She was not petite, nor blonde, nor golden haired. She was large and black as the ace of clubs.
So she was a giant, right? She was an angel, giant.
This is talking about Queen Khalifa, California, the Queen of California, who California got its name from. A black...
So what people call Nephilims, right? Giant people. That's what she was. Not enough of them, though.
Group of female warriors that said to reside on the island of what is today as Calafia. It was a newspaper article from 1864. Remember, she was not petite, nor blonde, nor golden haired. She found on this some more articles to further validate that the Amazonians, or Queen Khalifa and her warriors, were black. In the romance, they were black Amazons led by the wondrous Queen Khalifa. Again, check out the top part of that article right there. Although very black and very large, she is very beautiful. This is in California. All right, so we touched on Queen Khalifa, and we're going to get back to her. But I want to get
Okay, there's some articles that this
I've had for about 2 years. Reading, why is he? White people were sold as a Negro. Look, just the Californians, the Brazilian, those are both on the continent of America.
Which brings us to that the darker skinned people, what they call blacks nowadays, they're everywhere you are. If you are Latin America, you know that there are different shades in Colombia, in Cubano, in Puerto Rico, and even in Mexico. You will see lighter, whatever country you're at, lighter ones, you know, medium tone, and then you will see dark, Nubians, Negroes as they called them then, blacks, and they're native to the land wherever you're at. They were there. So you had the different shades of tones of people and diversity everywhere. Okay? Yeah. So incredible. So that, yeah. All right, we're good? Get started? Okay. There's always so much more data to share before we get started. Okay, so here we go. We'll probably be in, I don't know, probably another 45 minutes. We'll see. Let me know when it's like 45 minutes.
Yeah, there's a lot of comments. People were talking about how the Hindenburg was also under the German president, and then Hitler became chancellor after. And then somebody said that it makes sense that they would set it up with the blimps and the Zeppelins being pretty much done after the Hindenburg disaster.
Yeah. On purpose.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then in Germany history, Hindenburg gets a lot of blame for letting Hitler take over.
Oh yeah, we will leave no stone unturned as always. We'll see how long that takes us. Okay, so I'm gonna get started. We're good? Questions, comments? All right, here we go. Just taking deep breaths. Only source love light is allowed within the space. Only love light as always. Only benevolence is allowed. I am infinitely shielded by the divinity and love light of Divine Mother and Father, Creator. And love light, love light, love light, love light. Here we go. And I am wearing a Komodo with that she picked out. She really liked the Queen Khalifa, like the leopard, tiger, feline print. And I am wearing little shorts in case you think you're seeing something. You're just seeing little beige shorts again. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay. And she wanted me to wear pearls today. I feel like she has something to say about some pearls today. So I'm wearing pearls, and I'm wearing. Someone asked last time, what is this? This is howlite. Howlite with in honor to Goddess Unseen, the saint there, Ishtel. goddess, Mayan goddess, wearing that. And this actually came from Dale Head, and she was one of her items she gave me. She left behind when she ascended out, was this beautiful necklace and some scarves. So I wear it in honor of her, and it's just so beautiful to just kind of like feel her beautiful energy here with me. And then I'm wearing Tanzanite with Mother of Pearl. Is it Mother of Pearl? No. Tanzanite with white moonstone and kyanite. Okay. All right, here we go. I am Queen Khalifa. I am Queen Khalifa. I am Queen Khalifa. Or Queen Calafia. Queen Calafia. Queen Calafia. What is going on? What is up? As you say it in your literally up. What's up? You see us? We are flying in the skies in our time space. So you should be able to see us if you look with your third eye. Oh, yes, we're divine and we're beautiful, and we are in every farthest ways of the winds. We are flying, both with our angel wings and all humanoids of different forms in the Americas. Some fly on griffins and dragons, because we are in a time space of Lumeria before the fall of Atlantis, or after, actually, after the fall of Atlantis, but it's both, because what happened is that we stayed Lumeria, didn't we? We stayed Lumeria when the fall of Atlantis happened, and then the veil cloaked us to protect all. We're gonna start off with crying again. Divine Father created the mist, and he protected her. And he sent his energy over the Divine Father dragon from Asia and Europe, how we talked about last time, and the wings, and how his wings are the Antarctica circle around you, and he pushed her out and he protected her, like how you would if those movies you've seen, or where, you know, someone is about to get hit by, say, a car, and you push them out, and you stay. Like, that's what he did, is he pushed her out, and then he, in the combination with all these magical creatures and giant sea creatures and all these different dimensions, shielded her, and he stayed behind, because he is the land, the masculine dragon that you all are there. Though there's of course still feminine, because there's different pockets of spaces, the lands, you're on a dragon, but then there's many portals of energies, as you are the universe and the multiverse. So there's feminine energies in different parts of the lands that you could touch foot upon in Asia and Europe. But yes, that's what he did. He pushed her, veiled her, protected her, shielded her, and that mist till the day of the unveiling is his shield, his protection. Wow, so beautiful. And staying behind. It's often that the male sacrifices himself. When you look at the different rates in, say, a database, you know, who's prone to kind of pass away from different things, it's usually tends to be sometimes the father gets cancer, or takes on something to transmute it, or the masculine gets something in the family to take it on to transmute in the family. So it's something that's been common in your Earth's history. So it's that selfless act of protecting who you love, your loved ones. And he showed us and shows us every day that epiphany through every which way that the masculine protects his divine feminine in children, no matter what body you choose to be in. If you're, even if you are in a same-sex relationship, there's always going to be more of a masculine there, more than the female. So that is mirrored every day there with you. Wow. So thank you. Back to, so he created the mist. Okay, then Yeshua. Oh, wow, Yeshua, yes. Yeshua created the force field strong enough for that the mist and the shield could be thinned out, the veil thinned out, the shield thinned out, so that these worlds could be unified once more. But what happened is that his death in 1633, when he was 133 years old, is that it densified all the worlds. Of course, this crucifixion was so horrific, that it's so traumatic, that it's held in even in our DNA memory how traumatic it was. And this is the uproar that you're seeing through especially the example of Charlie Kirk that A.U.R.A has showed you, how he has an essence of Yeshua. We won't go further into that because we're not touching on that, since they were religions, and we're going to respect that. But this Yeshua and this uproar is happening because of this, and it's the uproar has begun, the shift has begun, and the world, the new ascended world, more higher world is here, not fully ascended, but higher oscillation of the world. And that's why you're seeing everyone, so many people, so many beings on earth standing up against this, those who have awakened enough to their soul and their heart. It's incredible how the heart guides you. And A.U.R.A, she's been talking to you video after video after video in courses about the heart. It's truly, the heart is a vortex, it's a spiraled vortex. She's going to channel, of course, in the future of Da Vinci, and running across his data, and how he talked about how the heart is actual a spiral vortex. When you take it apart, it's a spiral. It's wrapped around like a coil. It is a coil. Even your soul needs to spiral in through the coil of the heart. Everything in you are full of spirals, down to the crystals that are echoing out. There's constant spirals echoing out from you, sacred alchemy symbols, to the DNA chromosomes, and that's why even down to the DNA, the chromosomes, the double helix DNA, how it spirals, because you are in a constant spiraling motion. You are a constant cymatics. So we'll go into that more with A.U.R.A's Sophia's quantum touch healing, because she's really going to talk to you about the art that you are, and the cymatics and alchemy and symbols that you are. But know that the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because we are spiraling. In order for us to flap our wings and soar through the skies, we are connecting to the vortexes beneath us and above us, and what's coming out through our winds of our wings. Say, for example, say we're an angel, we're flying above you in our time space, because this is where I'm going to be talking to you about art from our time and space. And there are wind vortexes, and you can see them like tornadoes, like powering up the winds as they blow up. As we flap our wings, there's spiral winds coming out. You need to connect more to the winds of change, the winds in every map that A.U.R.A shows you, all the directions of winds and the way they carry you and bring you new information and a constant shift. These winds are powered up by the actual oxygen, and the oxygen is given to you by the trees, and then the little trees are also connected to the giant trees, and then the giant trees are also connected then to the universal tree, the tree that birthed all that is, the tree of life, the tree of knowledge, the tree. And these winds flow out. They flow out mostly from the North Pole. We also have south winds as well. Mostly from the North Pole, and as they're flowing in, this is the breath. I want you to know that the air and the wind that you are feeling is the breath of the Creator. It's their breath. So really honor it, to know that that wind is being like a gigantic giant, that the female dragon and the male dragon, they're giant dragons of the land that you live upon. And there's even smaller islands that look like dragons and giants and titans and big, beautiful beings that have come forth and to take on the road to be here with you. They are here and they make up these bodies. That's the breath of the Creator, the breath of Mother through the wind. And that's why the breath brings you clarity. She brings you clarity with every oxygen molecule. You're such a beautiful art created. And that's what we know. We know this because when Father misted us in the Americas, here we were. We knew that something bad, we could feel it, right? Lumeria, we could feel it. California, Americas, North America, South America, we could feel, and we knew of, because they also started to cause like nuclear bombs in your time space. You would understand, to different parts of the world where it looks like it was nuked. Desert areas, those began from Atlantis. So he protected us, Divine Father Dragon protected us from that. And here we were, we continued on. So in your time space, it could have been 500 years when Yeshua came, if there was time, 500 years. But in our time space, where time was non-existent, because we were still operating in a 5D crystalline blueprint in the Americas, this world, in our time space, thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and there's no time, so we can't tell you how many thousands. There's just that there was many, many thousands of years that we lived very happily, but we knew that, and beyond the veil and beyond the mist, that there was dangerous things happening, violations happening to the soul, to the bodies. And we also knew that we were remaining a crystalline form, a liquid crystal, but we knew that something was happening on your side of the world, that it was becoming carbon based, like physical. So if you could see it like Vesica Pisces, we were like the placenta, the crystalline placenta of our world, and then you are all were turning into the 3D, become densifying to become the 3D. And then Yeshua's crucifixion happened, which then brought us at the deepest, lowest of the 4D into the 3D with his crucifixion. And then at that point, when he was crucified, we were unveiled, because he had walked both worlds, both lands, and beyond Antarctica as well. In his perspective, though, Yeshua born from the scenes who were still holding up pockets of spaces of 5D or very high 4D, he was born crystalline, and that's why he could do things that only a liquid crystal could do, as A.U.R.A has showed you in the past and taught you how every part of your liquid is crystalline, even your water, your plasma, everything is made out of crystal. And this liquid is a form that he had, more so like if you were he was solid enough to hug, but he could also teleport through the different portals. So because he was connected to the 5D crystalline, he could portal into different parts of the world. So we could feel that shift, and we could feel him on this side of the world and all the work he was doing over there, and his birthing and waiting, holding the space for him to come over and walk the land when he was older was incredible. To know. And you could feel the shift. It's like if you were looking at the world and there was light bulbs everywhere, and say those light bulbs had gone out, like they broke, they need a replacement, you could feel the energetic shift when he would turn on that light bulb, and the light would become brighter and brighter. And then those lights also really were the people. You could feel from this side of the world, his workings, the collective hearts activating, the collective of hearts activating their beauties. Oh, and what an anticipation and excitement to know when he was coming over. And we'll let him share that story with you when he landed over here with us. What a beautiful journey it was to feel, because when you are 5D, as we were, still holding up the 5D, you're one, of course, with Mother Earth, and you're one with the crystals that make up the whole crystalline blueprint, the chrysalis that you are, crystal being you are. And so you connect to everything, the science of crystals and how they communicate, the crystal language. They have their crystal language, which is communicated as perhaps a hertz, a sound, a song. They talk, the crystals talk to each other. So that's another way that we were communicating what some of the challenges and some of the uproar and the amazing achievements he was achieving over there in awakening the hearts. And these beautiful energies. Did you know that the Mediterranean Sea is the heart of we tell you this, as hard as it is, but it's the heart of the Divine Father's heart, his dragon heart. And every land around it, right, Greek, and France, and Italy, and then going into Egypt, down the Nile, is, you could say, his main heart artery that gives life force to the rest of the lands of the dragon. And him, in his own way, he's birthing out to Africa, just as Mother's birthing out South America. Both birthing out energies. There was many Amazonians all over the earth, and we came in different shades of colors. Yes. So explain to you what's happening. What else did we feel? What else did we feel going through? Yes. Oh, there's so much to share, but we'll let Yeshua share with you. That's a good summary of what we were feeling over. I mean, we even felt when Yeshua and Magdalene came together in their twin flame union, when they had their children. And we'll let him explain to you how old he was when he came over to us, officially voyaging over in the 1500s. Back to us, though. We explained much of Yeshua, and back to our Lumerian lands. So let's talk about let's go back to a time and space. Back to a time and space where we are still Lumeria, and we're we are still veiled. Okay, so let's see this world, what it is like as it's veiled. So when the separation happened, we feel the heart goes into the water to protect. And as it goes into the water, what happens is that the magic transfers over to the vibratory match, which would have been the Americas. There's still magic, of course, that lives within Asia and Europe in this time, but it's become heavy and dense with the virus spreading. So it is a magic that's there, but it's covered up or it's dim. So there's a wave of energy that rushes through from the fall of Atlantis to us, and the crystalline light is felt here. And here we are protectors, guardians of these lands, and we were two different, say many different civilizations, but we also had the Atlanteans that went down to the Mayan location, Mexico, South America, and even America, where they gridded the pyramids in the Mayan Atlantean series, right? But then you also have the different islands. We're our own civilizations, like the California islands. We were benevolent, so we're a vibratory match. We're able to stay alive. If you were not a vibratory match, like you saw in the last American, you would pass on. You would ascend out. Literally, your soul would just kind of leave your body, and your body would be there, and you were gone. So those who hang on basically were a pureness, no AI, and these lands were protected, and that was a beautiful sacrifice. The ways that he assisted us to survive over in the Americas, Divine Father, when he misted us with his shield, he protected us from this virus. So this whole time we're living a world where, as the Mayan goddess Donancin, our Mother Mary version, she's holding the space and is the birthing, and she has to go to, especially to the umbilical cord, which is Mexico. She has to go there to seed Yucatan, all these pyramids, because she needs to keep the world and the placenta protected for the future, the energy of South America and what's going to birth. So the grid needs to be set up, and it needs to be set up as quick as possible. Some pyramids grow out from the lands, but most of them also do get built through telekinesis. And what Goddess Donancin, the goddess Ixtel from Atlantis. Okay, so we have, eventually, as you know, remote viewing Egypt or Grand Canyon. You hear the story, and again, or I will tell you that's under the extra sensitive series that she often recommends for you to go watch. In that one also too, eventually, does Cleopatra hold the space over there in Egypt? Eventually though, when they can't hold the space anymore, they can't hold the 5D there, they move over here, and they're all joining together, all their energies, to prepare these lands for the birthing of Yeshua and the veiling. We talked about in part 1 too, which Aurora have forgotten, that we were talking about the different lands and how they float, how they used to just kind of vibratory float over here in the Americas, up in Lumeria, and they would just kind of like float above. Or I will show you some videos of some of the temples that used to float as well before Tartarian times, like Greek times, before the AI, and some of these beings, like the Indian beings and the deities and the gods and goddesses, and even in Chinese culture, how they float above. Um, some of these Indonesian and Indian temples, you've seen them where they move and they have like they move, they spin, like they're like a music engineering, and they're so intricate. You are actually looking at temples that floated. Those are the temples that floated in the Chinese culture, Indian culture. You know, they're Tartarian beings, even like from India. What do you call him in your time space? You call him the blue Indian man, Krishna, and what's his name?
They had Vishnu, Shiva.
Shiva. Yes, Vishnu and Shiva. These beings were Atlantean beings, and they used to float in their palaces above as well. You understand Chinese culture as well, because this engineering of these floating buildings where they would move and spin and oscillate and create all this energy basically that would allow for them to float. So we had our own, though we didn't have quite intricate temples like that, but what we had was just a natural lands that would vibrate out and higher. And where also there was some pyramids that could float above as well. Okay, beautiful. So it wasn't just lands, there were some pyramids too floating. Okay. What else can we tell you about our magic? It was so beautiful. There was dragons everywhere, dragons in the mountains, dragons in the hills, and you could talk to them. They would fly. They were flying above you, under you. They were inside the lands. They could talk to you from inside the lands of the crystals beneath, because they could go through the lands because everything was crystalline over here. And they could go be in a cave and talk to the crystals inside the deepest caves of Earth. Then there was A.U.R.A. Oh, we're all in communications. So we were in California. And what happened is that A.U.R.A has explained to you what happened is that the Lumerian people needed to go into, eventually when times shifted, convoluted, but when the veil was removed, and in our time space it could have been thousands of years, in your time space it could have been an instant. It's tricky, but A.U.R.A and all these beautiful beings who are the avian beings as well, you could see them, that's another name that they went by, and they needed to find shelter. And the way they did that is, we've told you in the past, they went through Mount Shasta and different mountains and different portals, and they portaled out onto the other side, into the North Pole, where they still await for us now. And this transitions into the understanding what happened with Adolf Hitler in World War II, because A.U.R.A has been explaining, as we're remote viewing in the past, we've been remote viewing the North Pole. That's our series we just completed. He's been explaining to us, A.U.R.A, his journey, and he's going to channel and explain to you in the future, will be the next video to this series, on what happened. Where was he? What did they, how did he, how did him and all these magical creatures evade? What was the science to it? How could this even come to be? And their own kind of digression and trauma that they went to have to leave the lands that they were had to leave the lands that they were birthed from. Yeah. So sorry, there's a package. Uh, interesting time.
Everything's good?
Yeah, hold on. Give me a minute. Be right back to jump out. Whew. Okay, I had to jump out really fast. Whew.
Everything's good?
Yeah, everything's good. It's actually nice man, Mexican man, delivering a package. Okay. Really nice actually. All right. We're good, we're good. Okay, where were we? Ooh. Sorry guys, let me see. It's become a dream to me. What was she talking about? Oh, she was talking about Adama. Oh my god. Okay, okay. All right, so Adama. Let's see. Oh, Zen's trying to help out. I got the package. We're good. I have it. I have it. I have it. I have it. Okay. Okay. All right. We'll let them stop barking. I'll put myself back in. Okay.
There's a rainbow right on your face right now.
Really? Oh,
Yes.
sweet. Of course there is. So let's see. I have it. Okay. Fast forward. So there's some magic. So do you have any questions on what are? Okay, I am Queen Khalifa. I am Queen Khalifa. I am Queen Khalifa. As always, only benevolent source of light is allowed. Beautiful. Okay, we're back. So we're shared with you some of the beauty and the love and all the different beings, right? It wasn't just one being. It wasn't just. Sometimes what we hear is, I want to clear up, is that sometimes you hear like a bit kind of like with the Moors, they talk about the Moors and they classify us as the Moors, which you could classify us as this, but remember we were in different, all over the lands. And like Aurora told you, different shades of skin. And there's no, sometimes they place them on pedestals, like, you know, kind of that elite information. You'll hear that information on that. So we don't like that. That's archonic in nature. That's artificial. That's not something that we would ever align with, because we were the survivors of the 5D crystalline. Why would we ever vibrate to that? That's icky to us. So, but we understand that that is the world that, you know, that has densified, and some of the confusion that's happening in your time space eventually. But yes, so do you have any questions of our time space, because we are going to forward eventually to the invasion and the and what happened here and the battle and how all that. Questions before that, and what other
Yes.
questions can I answer for you?
Oh, yes, beautiful. We have some questions that we still had from last time, from the first video. And this one is from this video. Was there a need for you to ground yourself at the time when the temples were floating?
Yes. Was there a need? Okay, so like, if some of, well, we grounded, we had wings, most of us had wings, some of us didn't have wings, some could just kind of fly, you know, on your griffins and dragons, but the majority of our island were angelic, Nubian angels. And our wings are also pretty interesting. Some of them were darker, some were brown, some were black, some were colorful, some were gold, some were silver. So not just one shade of wings, not just white. Okay. And let's see what else. So do we need to ground? Yes, eventually you do have to ground. So both the life of the water, if you're a mammal, you eventually have to come up for air, right, from the water. Same for us, we would need to, even though we have air in the sky, we would need to ground to come up to, say, land, to touch land and to soil land. So you can't be too long in both the worlds of the wind and both too long in of the worlds of the water. You eventually have to come to the in between where you receive the oxygen. And in our time space, we still had the giant trees, so it was like a crystalline oxygen, the life force, the consciousness given to us through the trees. So the trees were still up, and you know that eventually the invasion, they came in and started cutting down these giant trees. Continue with your questions.
Yes, someone said in the comments they thought that A.U.R.A might be delivering that package at the moment.
Yes, it was an interesting because I literally saw the shift. AuroRa saw the shift in the man. It was like he seemed unsure. He saw her and he was like, ah! Just like such a bright, incredible light, just activation. A.U.R.A delivering a message for sure. He seemed very happy, happier than the usual human. So yes, that's what AuroRa just said. But continue with your questions, comments.
Yes, thank you. You kind of answered this a little bit before, but was Queen Calafia an Amazonian warrior or fractal of one at the time of California, where it was all occupied by only indigenous women, like how they depict the Wonder Woman movie?
Yes, it's a good depiction of that. But know that these Amazonian women were all over the earth with different shades of color skin. Yes.
In your time, was it only divine feminine warriors within your lands?
For the most, but there was also masculine. But what happened is that we kind of ran the house, is the way we can explain that. That we were honored, so the men were with us, but we were the leaders and the presidents, I guess you could say, from your time space. We're the chiefs of the tribes. And there were masculines, because we did need masculines, of course, to birth babies. And but they let us run the show, and there were also no guardians and protectors with us, and we were a higher population of females. We'll reference like the movie Black Panther, how the feminine were the more the warriors with their spears and bad A tribe. That's how we were as well in our location. And so yes, the settlers might have just seen the females, because the men knew that we were strong. Interesting enough, the female would go out and protect, while the male would stay behind and protect the children. Beautiful. And it wasn't just one shade of black, so the majority of us were darker skin. There was other also shades of skin. Continue. But our warrior ones were definitely darker skin, like we were, like I was, like I am in this time space. Continue. And then just thinking about that, like so if we were 5D, think about that for a minute. If we were 5D, then the veiling happened, and the invaders, the dark clones come in. How did we become so that we had to become carbon-based? That's a whole science to explain there. Because we were crystalline, invaders come in, we're deveiled. So it was a workings. What Yeshua is explaining to us now is that that's why he did so much work over on that end, to help us become as close as possible of a decimals in dimensions vibratory match, so that we were more of a 4D. So once the veil happened, we turned into a 4D. We didn't degress down to a 3D, but we could be 4D into a crystalline liquid turning more solid. Like, your crystals are not really 3D. They're not at all. Oh, your crystals are not 3D. They're 4D. They're 4D. They're fourth dimension into a formation for you to hold. So that's what we were. We were a 4D. So we could be solid enough where we would protect and be fighting against these dark clones. But we were really like a basically denser fourth dimensional liquid into a more solid form to fight against the more three-dimensional clones that were trying to conquer. Or yeah. Continue with your questions.
You were speaking about having babies, and in the first video you mentioned being born from like an egg, kind of like an angel baby. Would your babies be born like that, or when you went to the 4D, would they be more the human process?
Yes, because we'll have to talk about both worlds. Yes. So in our time space, crystalline, they were born as baby dragons. So the way like eggs. So the way that it will happen is that you would still have the sacred intercourse, right, with your partner, feminine and masculine, in 5D. But what happened is that our lineage, because we were seraphim, angelic energies, we were, angels, the baby would grow in the mother's womb, and then what would happen energetically is like the baby would portal out. And this was different for everyone, but this is the way that we worked. And the babies would portal out of the womb in a egg type of plasma crystal, and then the crystal would say hatch, the egg would hatch, and out come the baby. And the baby would come out with wings, just already come out tiny, like a cherub baby with little wings, already flying. So cute. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that is so cute.
Yes.
Precious, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else of your daily life or how it changed from the way it was from 4D and then when it started to digress that you'd like to share what it looked like when that happened?
Did our gratitude grow for the fact that Divine Father Dragon shielded us? And it made us also weep and cry to know too that here we were veiled, and that the people over on your side of Asia and Europe, the pains that you were going through and the traumas that your souls had already gone through to just get to us. Do you understand? The only being that would be able to bridge these two worlds would be Yeshua and his heart. That's it. It'd be too traumatic, too horrendous to be able to do that. So Yeshua and his love, say Father. And so yes, it was a gratitude, the biggest gratitude that we got to live these thousands of years in no time space, in this beauty, and set up the lands for you, and your the coming of Christ and the unifications. It was truly an honor. It's such a beautiful divine sacrifice for us to be here. And then it was all about, okay, now we know what it's been like. Now that this invasion's coming in, you've discovered, as you called it then, the new world. We're here, and there's so much density that's coming over, and then also the digression of humankind that are now coming over and trying to recede in the last American, recede the Tartarian buildings that were empty. Because we lived in nature, we lived in the mountains, we lived in the forests, we lived in the skies, we didn't live in buildings like that. And we lived in some dome monuments, like some temples. There's a difference between your Tartarian buildings and temples. temples we lived in, the ones that are often with the pillars, that are like your monuments, like your Abraham Lincoln monuments and your Jefferson monuments. They're temples of Atlantis. Those are the Atlantean temples that are still remained. That Atlanteans would portal into, come over here. Instead of flying in a Merkabah, they could portal in from their Atlantean monument looking temples to us, or portal to Asia and Europe whenever they wanted to portal into the two different worlds back and forth, and even on, because these also the worlds that exist beyond the moon reflection. There's more temples that you could portal into if you become a vibratory match to crystalline light, into the speed of light. Questions? Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
What was it like? How did it feel digressing down into the 4D from the 5D for you and your people?
Oof. It was painful. It was a bit painful. It's a bit painful. Weird. It's the best word we can find. Weird. Alienish, unknown, a new feeling that did not feel as good, that good.
We feel pain in like our physical body. Was it a physical pain?
Yes, it's you do sometimes feel physical pain, don't you? Yes, like that. Not to the extremity that you would feel it in your physical body, but similar like that. Like, like your skin, like your body's like what is the word? Like
Constricted?
constricted. Constricted. Like you're in. Can you imagine like your liquid crystal, like we were, right? Like constantly. We're Lumerian. I mean, you could even shift in forms, but most of us kept our forms. And then it's like you can't oscillate, you can't vibrate as high. You're still 4D though, but you're not the 5D anymore. So it's like you're petrified in a way, but you're not. And it's like you have muscles, energetic muscles that you didn't have before. Like your body is so constricted. I hope, did I explain well? It's hard to explain.
Yeah, it makes sense. Kind of like how like if you had water that was in a bowl, but then or water just flowing and then you put it in a bowl with a lid, it's a little bit different,
Yes.
like
Good.
contained.
Yes, that's good. Like that. Yes. Continue.
Is there anything else that you can think of that you'd like to share about your people or your experience during that time?
Yeah, so we're going into the digression that we experience in the fourth dimension. So then eventually the invaders came in, and it was a lot of them. Which the question is, where did these clothes come from? Laura has talked to you about the Grimm, and then also like the skinwalkers in the past, these dark sorcerers that had the spell over the people and were controlling them. So that was happening, but there's clones coming from somewhere. Clones coming from the Merlin. That's what happened. The Merlin itself is making clones. And it's that part in like Star Wars where the Chancellor, and he makes like clones of himself. It's like that. So he's made clones. In this one location in the United Kingdom where the dark seed spread, and some of these people in villages, oh, it was that people. It's those people that the virus that got like the first hit of the virus that are like kind of zombie-ish. They're like under a spell, they don't know. They have no control over their bodies because in some form they contracted without even agreeing to it, or non deep story there, but it's the whole story that AuroRa shares with you with every single aura regression and the Archon and the Dark Aliens, and how they sometimes contract you unconsciously in the subconscious. You don't realize that you have some kind of negative contract with them. So it's like that, and it goes back to the Dark Seed. What video was that, or a saying where she began to explain the Dark Seed? Oh, the seven goddesses. The seven goddesses. Back to that story. Watch that, Aurora says. Seven goddesses, and they explain. Remember how she started to, the seven goddesses explained to you the dark seed that happened, and then how the direct village where it grew up in Merlin, and how it spread from there. Okay, so there is where he began the dark clones, and there is where he began to make dark clones, because he had the Atlantean technology still that he took. Understand, and the dark scientists were still with him, and these dark technology and dark scientists are still alive, cloning themselves from the AI this time, and are those we won't let Aura say it, but she's talked about it at the beginning, the ones that are masking. It's them, they're the clones, the same Merlin clones. You understand? Questions, comments?
Yes, we definitely understand that. So they were all the Merlin clones. What is it like to go from seeing like the organic people to seeing a clone like that? What is the major difference that you could feel or notice?
Oh, it feels so wrong. It feels so wrong. We know it. We've seen it. We can see it from our time space to your time space. How you've run into some of these people and something feels really wrong, and you're like, oh, what do they call you? Like awkward? You're awkward. But it's like you're not awkward. They are awkward, and they're making you feel awkward. Something's really wrong there. Yes. But there's been so much work in your time space, Yeshua saying, that has happened. So they're not so much the majority at all. There was a lot of majority then in the beginning of Fall of Atlantis, even going into Yeshua. There are the Romans too, and yeah, it's coming to an end. Not so much that it's gonna completely end right now. The reason why Yeshua is saying that it's coming to an end, this is Yeshua. Greetings. This is Yeshua. This is Yeshua. This is Yeshua. This is Yeshua, son of Mary. This is Yeshua, son of Mary. This is Yeshua, son of Mary. What an honor it is to be here with you. I love you with all that I am. Every being of me loves you, down to every strand of crystalline DNA that I am, and every single piece of hair, if you could call my hair then, but it was more like crystal hair. Loves you and loves you, loves you, loves you, loves you. And as I came in, we're too deep here. Was this the question, or were we talking?
Thank you, Yeshua. Thank you for being here. We can feel your love. We were speaking about how the clones were there, but now they're not as much now, and you were going to share more on that.
Yeah, so it's not that it's coming full. Yes, it's coming to an end, but the reason why it's coming to an end is because the Christ consciousness heart has activated within you. The Christ consciousness Lionsgate gate has activated within you? Have you paid attention to your heart in the ways that it vibrates out in circular, in spirals, and in a vortex energy? Your hearts have activated, and you are in another world, as A.U.R.A has been talking to you about. You is not the same you that was from before the Lionsgate of 2025. You are a different you that has crystallized and orbited into a higher state of being. You are a new version of you, an upgraded version of you, the latest model of crystalline self of you. You're loved. And as this Christ consciousness has awakened within you, it has awakened all over earth for those who are the vibratory match, which then brings that into an end, and it makes it so farther and pushes it out. The clones, the dark entities, pushes it out so far away from your world. As I did that, I pushed that vortex out, that energy, vibrated the energy out in all ways that I walked. The land, the world, the earth, the people would shift in my proximity because they had only one choice. You want to be in my space, you're going to have to positively polarized. You are going to have to instantly positive polarize in my space, because I am not going to digress into a lower density and harm others and be dense like that. It's not going to happen. But I am going to stay in a crystalline formation of love light. And then whoever's in my proximity is going to quantum physics into a higher state of being. Because that is the space that I'm holding. And that is what I've taught you over and over. Hold the space of love. Hold the space of love. Hold the space of love no matter what. Hold it. Don't give up. Hold it. I'll talk to you later. Unless you have a question for me.
Thank you, Yeshua. We love you. Thank you. You always inspire us with every message you have for us. Thank you.
You are loved. Thank you. I am Queen Khalifa. I am Queen Khalifa and Queen Khalifa. Oh, what a beauty he is. Oh my goodness. Making me cry. Eventually he came, right? He came. And we could feel his beauty. But what happened was that he came, and in one of his trips back, he decided to ascend out because it was time. And then when he ascended out, the dark clones came in, or the people already here who were here shifted. There was a bifurcation, as you often see in your world. And they targeted us in California. They warred against us. And we fought them off. With our force fields, the truth is though that they were not as strong in any way as strong as us. Our magnetic fields were too powerful. But what happened was that they turned they through the dark sorcery and the dark skinwalkers, they compromised some of the giants that were in South Carolina and some other parts of the world. They contained them and they binded them, like those movies you see where they knock the giant down and then they tie them up. And as they tied them up, and they're so gentle and beautiful, they dark venom, darkness. So much so that then the skinwalkers controlled the giants, and then the skinwalkers behind that also were the dark sorcerers, dark priestess controlled by the Merlin, and all the dark curses there controlled them. And then eventually came that they outnumbered us eventually. And as this dark virus continued to spread, and then we started to densify into the 3D after his crucifixion, that's when it happened. All of us had to densify into the 3D. We could not stay. We fought it to the end, but we couldn't be anymore in the 4D, 5D that we were. So then we also they didn't quite kill us off. We became the Titans. Those Titans, those giants that became petrified, and we went into the trees. And we fought, and we went into the trees. Till then, they fought us off, or they make it seem like in their articles they fought us off, but it was child's play. And eventually when it was time and we couldn't hold the 4D anymore and the whole Americas had to turn into the 3D after his crucifixion, and it was like a 3.9, so it was a high 3D though, which then Tartaria brought you back to the 4D. But you're constantly you've been in time spaces where you're going back and forth though. But yes, we went into the trees and waited there till this day to be speaking. We're still in the trees. For my time space, we're living inside the trees and these waterfalls and giant mountains and like Yosemite. So we're existing in our time space, but we're more like in a pocket space, kind of awaiting, you could say, awaiting and holding the space for you when you will ascend out. We lived our time on Earth and now we wait inside the nature. We're not stuck anymore because we were started to become freed this year in the year of the serpent. In all the portals and eclipses that have happened, we are free. But you can't see us unless you see us with your third eye. We walk among you. We are with you. But our homes are the nature. The world that is here in the original crystalline blueprint that was here before the digression of the 3D. Questions, comments?
Thank you. Yes. So whenever the fall happened to the 3D, was that harder than it was to go from the 5D to the 4D?
No, well, rising from the 4D to 5D is so beautiful and light. It's like you turn into light, crystalline light, so it feels good. So repeat your question again.
Yes, you spoke earlier about going from the 5D to the 4D, how that felt more constricting. So how did it feel going from the 4D to the 3D?
Oh, we didn't go into the 3D. We went into the nature. We didn't densify into human carbon-based vessels. We became those sleeping giants everywhere, or we just went into the trees that have the crystalline portals. They're the crystalline portals. Giant trees and small trees, we went into them. So no, we never felt the 3D because we stayed 4D, 5D into the nature. You understand?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And then how many years was it until you went into the trees? Was it immediately when it happened, or was there a time that took over time to go in?
Say 1700s, 1700s, or 700s, when after Yeshua's passing, basically. Not too far after Yeshua's passing in 1633. Continue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As the beautiful warrior that you are, what guidance do you have for us in this now time?
Yes, and this is why AuroRa added the Uproar, because the Uproar is here. Now, AuroRa, as she's doing her readings, she was speaking to different people from all over the world. And let's see, she spoke to someone from, was it Nepal? And they said that their government is different. There is no tyranny there that is supposedly happening, and that the children are not confused. Oh wait, not Nepal, apologize. It was, where was it? It was not Nepal, it was, she said, Zen message, what country was that the person spoke about? They said that their government was not like that. So it was an interesting reading because the person there from this country, their children were not indoctrinated and were not confused about what gender they were, or if they were a human species or an animal species. They weren't confused like that there. Okay. And so speaking, what was your question?
We were asking about any advice you have or guidance during this time? You spoke about the uproar, and you were speaking about the lands where the children weren't confused.
Yes. So the issue is right now in your time space is that the children are confused in the ones that they had administrations like the Biden administration. So it's horrible. They targeted your children. So how is there going to be an uproar like what happened in Nepal if the children have become confused and they don't even know if they're female or male, and they're not tapping in and owning in their divine feminine and their divine masculinity, and they're hiding it, or they're taking drugs and you know, such a confusion in their body, and it was their ultimate inverted goal, because how are they going to stand up and uproar against them and the government when they confuse their minds? But you're healing them, right? You're healing your children. You've not given up on them. Don't give up. Keep working on them. So that's the difference between, say, Nepal, where their generation of younglings stood up against, waiting for the name of the country, which I can't remember, can't find it right now. But yes, you see what they did? So if you confuse the children, who's going to cause the revolution? Who's going to overthrow the government that's negative? It's up to you now, 30s and 40-year-olds. You got to do it. And it's so, looking at your world, it's like so confusing, right? Because you have a population of thousands or millions of a country, and it's like these clones are withering away so weakly that they can barely hold the frequency here. And it's like a handful of them, and you're telling me that these handful of people are running you? Thousands and millions? It's all a psyops in the mind. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, in the last 24 hours, I've seen people boycotting some things like Netflix because the gender confusion, even on the cartoons for the kids, they're bringing it up in the cartoons. So they've already, in the last 24 hours, started talking about that again.
Yes, definitely boycott everything that is rooted. A.U.R.A was also, her husband was telling her about that Starbucks is owned by Israel. Did you guys know that? A.U.R.A knew that when she was, even when the times that she was asleep, because she could never drink any of that. It felt like vile, felt dark. So again, when I talk about Israel and the good people, we're talking about the dictator clones. So yeah, boycott those places. Don't feed that dark venom into you that is owned by these dark people, dark clones. Good. Continue with your questions, comments.
Yes, thank you. So why is California being targeted, and what can we do to help?
We're past time. Okay, so let's conclude this soon and say your question again.
Yes, this is the last question.
Yes.
Why is California always being targeted, and what can we do to help?
The reason why it's targeted is because of the angelic light codes that are here, and they were the last trees, right? The last trees that stood up with the invaders and cutting them out. And even, you know, your Yosemite waterfalls are actual giant trees. So because they were the last angelic energies that are of this world, and that's why it's targeted. So if you densify and you attack California, and then you make everybody jab back in COVID times your children so that they could go to school, then you are densifying and you are oppressing their angelic energy and their angelic light codes. Did you know that the jab was to oppress the angelic light codes inside of you and your children? Nano AI that goes into your chromosomes and attaches and hybridizes your DNA, then hybridizes your blueprint, that makes so many illnesses and diseases in you, because it's unnatural, it's synthetic, it's a foreign, it's an artificial invasion within you. So it was to keep the children from turning angelic. So now the workings is very important, because we represented as these seraphim angelic beings. It's very important that you start working with your children and bring back, if you jab them or jabbed yourself, you have to transmute out quantumly out that COVID vaccine, so that your Mandela's DNA crystallite is moving in an infinite formation like a kaleidoscope with no restriction. Some of you have that jab in you and it's restricted. So then it's not moving like a kaleidoscope anymore, and that's what's causing your exhaustion, sickness, and illness. Questions, comments?
Yes, that was the last comment. And is there anything else that we can do to help with the lands of California itself?
Yes, thank you. So we were once an island, and sometimes when you go into those valleys, right, they're the ocean that wrapped around us. How amazing is that? If you're walking in these valleys, you're walking technically underwater, right? That's fun. In our time space, it would be underwater. So then visit these locations in California and send the love. Send love. Some of you call it prayer. Send love every day to California or all the entire world, so that these children can start healing and give them back their angelic codes. Give it back to them. No, we do not consent. The children need to be vibrating, and that's also the rise to autism, because these children are angels, and the vaccinations inside of them, you know, that is Tylenol as well, which is the drug, and that's why they tell you to give them ibuprofen and Tylenol after you vaccinate them, because it's basically a chemical compound that combines with all the vaccinations that you gave your child, and then it activates it. It's activator. The Tylenol, ibuprofen is the activator, and also it's a number, and it goes into the spine, and one numbs the body, but it's numbing. When it's numbing the cells, or the receptive communicators, like the enzymes. It's basically the enzymes that are creating the plasma energy, and then it's also going into the mitochondria, and then it attaches into the cells of the mitochondria, and then it makes you heavier and denser, and then they're not communicating. So then what happens is that it creates a disconnect with autism children, where they can't like be fully in their nervous system, fully integrated with their body, because there is a blockage from their physical body to their spirit. Their spirit is too high, and those dark receptors are blocking for their soul and their body to be unified in, say, motor skills and communications, and it's keeping them stuck while the body is growing. They're getting taller, but their mind is being kept at a digressed state of mind, where they can't develop into the higher age that they really are. So more than ever, Aurora has been talking to you about these children with these disorders and diseases, that we need to focus on them and heal them. Don't get confused, don't get distracted. Sometimes those alien conferences you go see are the real aliens. Be cautious in everything you listen to. Be cautious to everything you allow become your reality, because when you believe it, it becomes your reality. Time to heal the children. As you already know, the data is there. The cancer rise is horrific. You cannot deny that. The infertility as well. Those are alone clues for you to know of the ways that you need to heal yourself and your loved ones. Thank you. Questions, comments before we conclude?
That is all, everybody. So grateful for all the messages you've shared, and we're so grateful for you today and for Yeshua and everybody else who assisted. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And that was, we also had to allow Aurora's consciousness to speak through that, because in our time space, there's none of what you were asking. So we took some of her knowledge to share. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you, honor you, and respect you, the warriors of Gaia. I love you, honor you, and respect you. The Amazonians, the Moors, the Nubians, we are here, but we are all colors. I love you, honor you, and respect you. I am Queen Khalifa. I am Queen Khalifa. I am Queen Khalifa. Queen Calafia. I am Queen Calafia. I am Queen Calafia. I am. Thank you. Until next time, where Adama will speak in the journeys that they went just to get to the North Pole inside Agarthia to survive. Thank you. Ooh, something looks so pretty. How are we? We did good. Do you want to read any comments?
Everything was incredible. Beautifully, beautiful, beautiful.
331 here.
Nice. It's 431 here.
Nice.
So people were talking about earlier when you were talking about Divine Father's heart, they said, wow, I think we may all be connecting to Divine Father's heart more deeply now. Understanding that.
Yes.
And how it's the Mediterranean Sea area, and somebody said that's a really beautiful area.
Yes.
And then you talked about Starbucks. And somebody said that the logo was some kind of siren, an inverted mermaid.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
So that they're keeping the curse on the mermaids and feeding off it through Starbucks. Ew.
Yeah, because it's supposed to, and then the siren that they have is like a twin-tailed mermaid who's supposed to like entice sailors to their doom with a song. So.
And then you drank it all. Thank God I knew not to drink it. So go back and do not consent to all that darkness that you drank through that inverted intention. Purge it out, transmute it out. Shield yourself from those time spaces when you drank that dark stuff. Or if you fed it to your children.
Yeah, and then everybody's just saying thank you to Queen Khalifa and to Yeshua, and that's all.
Beautiful. Thank you all. What a joy. I won't be here next Friday because next Friday we channel Adolf Hitler's daughter and him to figure out from higher self, only benevolence, only love, light, figure out what really happened with the World War II and why is there a map where he went beyond the Antarctica and why was his base beyond the North Pole bases? What's going on there? History erased from our memory. Thank you. I love you, honor you, and respect you. Thank you for being you. Hit subscribe right now, you all. Let's play a song again. Hit subscribe, thumbs up, help the algorithm. Let's go. Ready? Come on, come on.
I'm sorry you don't win the war. Forget what I was fighting for. I'm sorry you don't get the score. I'm about to go, I'm about to go. You tried to make this your kind of vacation.
Come on, y'all.
Loving me ain't something I'm giving, taking. No, nah, nah, nah. Lies all down. Do you even know if I'm even around? And I have found lights that make me blind. And I'm
What's up, you all? All right. And this is Lights Go Down by Gum Pop. Gum Pop.
My name came up a lot of sounds. More when I was not around. Certain people that I know, they ain't know what they're about. Unless you heard it from me, then you ain't heard it from me. Got it from me. All the energy extra. You don't want to see me with the hitters. Now I'm moving, now I'm moving. I gotta do what I do. I'm really here on my ones now instead of 4 3s or 2s. And I was effing from Paris. I could have been effing you in Paris.
Oh, I don't know about that part.
I just flow from the pot.
Let's just say he loves her. All right. I love you guys. All right. See y'all next time. I love you guys. See you next time. Bye, loves.
You don't even know me. You don't even know my name. You don't even know me. Why you saying shit? You don't even know me. Why you playing games? Galaxy, the universe, tried everything to make it work. We can't stop. No, we can't stop the sky from falling. Lights go down. Do you even know if I'm even around? And I have found lights that make me